On January 6, 2021, patriotic Americans watched absolutely horrified as many of their fellow patriotic Americans who had been misled and lied to over the course of several months about the results of the election of 2020 took matters into their own hands at the behest of then President Donald Trump and stormed the United States Capitol building. Now, we keep hearing it wasn't an insurrection, it wasn't an insurrection. The definition of an insurrection is simply a violent uprising against an authority or government. There is no way to spin January 6, 2021 as anything less than an insurrection. The definition of a coup or coup d'etat is an effort to seize or retain power through non-democratic or extrajudicial means. After losing the election, Trump lost over 58 court battles, many of them in courtrooms overseen by judges appointed by his own administration. When that didn't work out, the Trump campaign scheduled, branded, and marketed the Stop the Steal movement. Over $3 million were spent to bus supporters into D.C. on that day. Now, certainly, many people who have been convicted of charges for January 6th just got swept up in a movement. Yeah, they didn't know what they were part of, but Trump did. In his speech at the Ellipsis that day, he pulled the pin on a grenade that he'd spent the past several months building, and he threw that grenade right at the Capitol. And we keep hearing ridiculousness like Ray Epps. Ray Epps is apparently a domestic terrorist whisperer, and he had more of an impact in getting people to storm the Capitol that day than the guy with people like Rudy Giuliani giving aggressive speeches on a stage with a PA system, pumping this nonsense into people's heads. We keep hearing that there were no guns at the January 6th insurrection, yet there have been hundreds of gun convictions. Now, it is an absolute, it's fascinating that a firefight did not break out. We're all victims of this man's desire to retain power and efforts to retain power. If we had watched this on TV happening in any other country, no one would hesitate to call it exactly what it was: a failed coup attempt. The victims, the real victims here, are those who got swept up in these lies and lost their freedom because of this madman who is still wreaking havoc on our country. Last night at a rally in Iowa, he threatened big trouble if the Supreme Court doesn't rule in his favor regarding the 14th Amendment case and being removed from the ballot in Colorado. Stop letting this spoiled, rotten, rich boy, domestic terrorist, loser, dictate what happens in this country. Stop letting this fool hold a gun to the head of the United States of America. Make it stop. And I pray for the victims of January 6th. And by that, I mean the people that were there, that were present, that got swept up in a movement and were lost in something before they even knew what they were lost and getting themselves into. God bless you, God bless America, and may nothing like January 6, 2021 ever happen in this country again.